Experimental Woven Forms, Julie Hooker, 2022. In this video I'm going to be introducing some of the experimental woven forms that I produced as part of the course. Okay, so here's an original style corn dolly. Both of these are made with the traditional 4-straw plaiting technique. As you can see, it's probably easier to show you on this one. It's quite an interesting pattern made with the plait. Now, this is obviously the traditional way of doing it. Now, I tried the same using sticks, and as you can see, a very similar kind of effect achieved with those. So I then thought I'd try and go bigger. Now, this one came out as a bit of a surprise because I was expecting it to still do the same as the sticks, but where the heavy plaited cordage is not foldable, it just bends slightly. It's a much looser kind of rope look to it, and I really love these sort of knobbly textures that are involved in this one. So this is a 4-straw, effectively 4-straw plait. So I then tried going on to a 5-straw plait. Now traditionally you can do it with a core, which gives you the just a straight spiral, or you can do it without a core, which gives you the traditional kind of triangular spiral shape. This is a shape I particularly enjoy. I thought I'd recreate that using some heavy cordage, but again, because it's really springy, what I actually got was this kind of, I suppose, like a net kind of affair going on. It's very loose, it doesn't hold its form, unfortunately. I was hoping it might, but it didn't. So that's with the 5-straw without a core. This is the difference between cordage and straw, where the straw folds and holds its shape, but the cordage doesn't. So playing with that idea further, I wondered whether it would do the same as with the 4-straw. So I did it with 5, and this is what you get with the heavy rush cordage, plaited cordage. This I really love, and it would obviously offer up lots of scope for very large things that you could make with that. So again, this really knobbly, loopy, wild kind of texture. I really enjoy this one. It's very flexible. You can bend it into different shapes. I'm sure if you wired it, you could probably get that to stay eventually, but it would have to be quite heavy wire because it's got quite a lot of tension on it actually. Going down to smaller cordage, it was a little bit better. It did stay together a little bit more, but if you pull it apart, it does. We go to this loopy, and again, this is a nice, you know, you can twist that and make other shapes with it as well. This is a really nice texture if you twist that. Now if you work it around a core, which means you have something in the middle, of course it doesn't unravel. So this is what I achieved with the cordage, mixed plant cordage, and this sample actually really inspired me to do the roots hanging and the little tree as well, the resilience tree. But again, this really knobbly natural texture. It's almost like really old sort of hemp rope or something, really heavy. It's a lovely thing. I love the way when the ends are teased out, it kind of looks a bit like roots or kind of branches, I suppose, that way around. But very wild, very natural kind of look to it. And like I say, this inspired the roots hanging and the little tree, so I developed this on quite a lot. So going on from there, I tried using willow to do some of these forms, but it did snap. This is weeping willow, so it's not normal willow. Perhaps if I tried it with normal willow, it would actually work. Maybe that's something to try. This was some gathered weeping willow, and I kind of wove it just randomly into a sort of tray shape. I love the way you can see through. It'd be great for sort of a reveal and conceal type exercise, but it's still great because I mean it's been months now, and you can still see the little kind of leaf bits, and it was this kind of leafy bits and pieces here that inspired the tiny little leaves on the weeping willow style tree that I did, which all focused around my nan's weeping willow in her garden. Now weeping willow to weave with is okay when it's fresh, but once it dries out it does become quite brittle, so it's not something I'd probably use again. But like I say, I quite like being able to hide behind it. It's good fun, but it's something I might develop a bit more, maybe try using some normal standard willow, but I don't think you'd get this these lovely little fluffy leaves. I'm surprised they've stayed on really. I thought they would have fallen off by now, but it's certainly something I might improve on in the future. So that's my strange little collection of experimental forms really. As I said earlier, they were done throughout the course, but I just thought I'd give them a bit more of a showcasing really, because I think sometimes your samples get a bit lost, and I really like the way that they give you ideas, but they're almost like little sketches to me. They're like little maquettes, little ideas, and they tend to spark something else. As I've said repeatedly, it's the physicality of working with materials that I enjoy more than anything. So drawing something doesn't necessarily spark an idea, whereas working with something like this usually does. And it's something I'll continue to do, I think, as I move forward.